Hey, Computer Essentials people, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Nice job so far on job 1 and 2 for outdoor adventures and the simulation. You're plugging along nicely. I'll get those spreadsheets graded for you on Friday after they're due. So I'm going to push out job 3 right away. But be forewarned that this is going to take you a few days. Don't expect to crank this out at once, okay? This is a 3-4 day-ish, okay? So I'm going to push it out today, Friday the 17th, but I don't think I'm going to even have it due probably till Wednesday or Thursday next week. And once you get into it, you'll understand why. So there's a couple different parts that are happening here. You've got actually 4 moving parts in job 3. So let's go to that Google Doc. So you've got four things that you need to do in this job 3. So this one, each one of which is worth 10 points. So this is worth 40 points. So Marb's asked you to create all the forms that you need for sending people on these trips to like Boundary Waters or wherever, right? Those things include the trip application form. So like, hey, I'm going to go in the form. Okay, here's all the stuff I need to put in so they have all your information. The medical form. I'm taking this medication. I've got this bum knee. If I get hurt, this is the hospital to call. Here's my first my insurance information, whatever the case may be, right? So just kind of like no different than playing sports, you need to put in the medical information. And then, of course, the liability waiver. If I drowned on this canoe trip, I won't sue Outdoor Adventures. Pretty typical. So in here, there are, if you click on these are all examples of ones that have been created by the Sierra Club. Now, we're not going to use these, but I want you to utilize this information. So you can go through and copy and paste all this information in here. Just you can and copy the text and stuff. I would do it by paragraph and do it by piece. And then you're going to put that into your own new document based on in Google. So you can do those in Google Docs, Google Forms, maybe even Google Sheets, depending on how you do that, okay? So let's walk through these first 3. What I've done is I brought up some examples of what previous kids in the past have done just as a visual. That way that you can pause the video and look at it for references and come back. So if I look at this liability waiver form, and again, the liability waiver form that you're pulling from is this PDF. So you're going to utilize this information off the PDF that is all Sierra Club stuff. Wait, it's thinking quick. Here we go. So it's got all the information, and then you say, yep, I've read all this, I acknowledge this, I'm not going to sue you if I die. Stuff like that. So what would that look like if you put that into Google Doc? Well, here you go. This was made by a former student. You're going to change any reference from Sierra Club to Outdoor Adventures. So put the Outdoor Adventures logo up the top. Copy and paste the text into there. And then do a find and replace feature. So Control F on your keyboard, and then do a find, and anytime it says Sierra Club, change it to Outdoor Adventures Outings, right? Just like that. So you're going to go through and do that and do all those replacements. Get those bullet points in there, and then you can then just create this little text spots on the bottom here for, yep, I agree, blah, 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 blah. So that's one way of doing it. You could very easily do this in a Google form and have all this text at the top of the Google form, and then have a place for a digital signature with this information at the bottom. Totally fine. This is all about problem solving, and I want you guys to figure out what you think would work the best for that, okay? So that's the first one, is that liability waiver. We go back to our Google Doc. The second one is a medical form. This one's got a lot to it, so this is why we're taking a few days to do all this. So the medical form looks like, should I have all these loaded before? Looks like this. So it's going to collect all their vital information: height, gender, weight, blood pressure, primary contact, insurance details, allergies, medication names, check boxes, yes and no for all this stuff, and then, of course, the signature at the bottom, okay? So all this stuff is what you would be utilizing. Again, changing all the reference back to Outdoor Adventures. So you're not going to see any Sierra Club words and references on there. This is all Outdoor Adventures. So let's take a look at a couple examples. Well, you could do this in a Google Doc again, just like this. So Rebecca Kingsland made this a couple years ago. She did a nice job with it. She just did with Google Docs and some table features. And then when you get down to here, she made the little tables and checkbox yes and no's. Pretty simple, right? So that's feasible to do, and that works fine with those tables and text boxes. Okay. The other option, and Lily Sadoff made this a couple years ago. This isn't the published version, but this is like the editing version. She did this in a Google form, right? So each question is a field, right? And you know how to make Google forms. And then each item there is listed. She did break it into sections because otherwise it gets really long. So go to section 1, and then section 2 is all about the medical insurance. Section 3 is about the medications. Section 4 is about the general medical history. This is where you get into yes, no checkboxes, right? So that works out really nicely. Then we get into your swimming ability, most recent physical, all those sort of questions. And then the last section is the agreement. Yep, boom, done. So that's another option of how you could do that medical form. You could either do it via Google Forms or via Google Docs. Your choice. The next one is the trip application form. And then the trip application form is pretty simple. That could be done either in Google Docs or Google Forms again. So done in a pretty simple table, got the credit card information for collecting payment, all those sort of things. Again, make sure you change any reference from Sierra Club to Outdoor Adventures and the correct address. Here's that who made this one? Oh, Becca Kingsland made this one as well. Again, in Google Docs, use the table features and just the underlying features and such. Little checkboxes there, boom, done. You'll notice that she changed it to Outdoor Adventures with the correct address. Same with this she didn't change, so this was actually incorrect. So this should have been changed to Outdoor Adventures in Minocqua. So those are those 3 documents that you're going to build out. The fourth part, yes, I know it's a lot. By the way, when you turn these in, make sure that you're labeling these accordingly, either the liability form, medical form, or trip application form, and turn those into me. Make sure that I have editing rights. Okay, you can always just share them with me too, however you decide to do that. The fourth part is you're going to go back and you're going to update that spreadsheet that you started on job 2. So if you remember in job 2, we created a spreadsheet that was just blank. Now, Marv has got you buying some supplies. So he's going to have you buy some ready-to-eat meals, compression sacks, and then some printing expenses for all these expeditions, right? So you need to record that on the spreadsheet you created in job 2. You're not making a copy of it. You're literally editing the existing document. You'll turn it in again for more points. This is where I was saying before that that's something that you'll do and we'll touch a few times. So let me show you what that looks like. This is the spreadsheet. And then now in job 3, you'll notice that we haven't had any income, but Marv had asked you to update those expenses. So if I go to the expenses tab down here, you'll notice that the date is to be determined. So don't worry about, you can put in today's date or tomorrow's date. The category would be purchase supplies or promotional expense. The details right here, Mountain House, ready to eat, 36 of them at $6.50 each. And then you do that math out. Right? So I did it right here. So equals 6.5 times 36, and it gives you the answer of 234. And then down here, if that works, these should be all adding up with your adding down here. You got 6 compression sacks at $23.95 each for $143.70. 1 promotional expense for printing at $16.45, so that's the same price. That $394.15 will carry back to here because you set it up correctly to pull from that cell. And then you'll notice that you have a net income of a loss of that same amount because we don't have any income to offset that, right? So that equation is working out negatively right now, okay? So that is the 4 parts of this project. It's gonna take you a while. Let me know if you have questions. I'm happy to jump in on a Google Meet with you and we can walk you through it. I can help you build it out. Again, if you have questions on any of this stuff or you do it wrong, I'll send it back with comments, and please come back and fix it so you can get the full points versus partial points. But you've got 4 things you're going to do: liability waiver, medical form, the trip application form, and then go back to the spreadsheet you did in job 2 and update it with these expenses. Okay, make sure all are turned into job 3. Just copy the links and paste them right into the comment section in PowerSchool, then that way I can get those live links better. If you just click on add a link, for some reason I'm not able to download them, and I'll hunt you down if I can't get them from there. That's it. If you have any questions, you let me know. Otherwise, we will see you towards the end of next week. I'll just check in on you individually, but we'll be working on this for most of next week. See ya.